At this point, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Ken, who will walk you through the use of an SESA for environmental social management frameworks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, DG. The preparation then of environmental and social management frameworks is as we've seen, the other component of the SESA process, and it's based on the assessment of possibility that actions and projects involved in the implementation, the actual implementation of a RED strategy, will have adverse impacts. As we've seen, by the time of the formulation of the readiness preparation proposal, we should have a determination, at least a preliminary determination, of which of the World Bank safeguard policies are likely to apply, and we see that we can expect to have a confirmation or a final determination of which policies apply by the time of the delivery of the readiness package. These safeguard policies can be seen as international good practice standards that the World Bank has applied in a variety of settings, and they in fact serve as the basis for the formulation of these frameworks, which are an important process of an important output of the SESA process. The frameworks address potential adverse impacts, but also look at enhancing the possibility for enhancing benefits. So you have a minimum standard in which you want to avoid harm to the natural environment and to people, but you also want to, in keeping with international good practice standards like the safeguard policies and others, you want to try to go beyond that always and look at how you can enhance benefits. The safeguard policies, there are 10 of them, 11 if we consider a policy on information dissemination and disclosure. The closest to an umbrella policy is the one on environmental assessment, OP 401. And underneath the environmental assessment policy, there are 5 other policies that could be considered to fall within the environmental management, environmental mitigation realm. There are a couple of policies that the World Bank considers to fall within the social realm on involuntary resettlement and indigenous peoples. And there are a couple of policies that can be considered to fall within the legal realm on international waterways and disputed areas. The types of actions, projects, activities that are proposed to be implemented as part of a RED strategy are likely to require the application of numerous of these safeguard policies. And in fact, FCPF readiness process is subject to application of any of them. In some cases, in particularly complex settings where there are a range of activities, it's possible that all of the safeguard policies could apply. But on the other hand, we can't say that there will always be the application of one policy or another, because you could have situations where the RED strategy consists of carrying out minor studies on the use of forest resources, for example, and that might not be grounds for application of any of the policies. And coming back to the idea of the need to avoid harm while enhancing benefits, we've seen that a lot of times that this is been recognized by countries participating in the FCPF even before it was entirely clear which or how the safeguard policies would apply. And as an example of this, we can see in a draft readiness proposal, in this case Guyana's readiness proposal, attention to some of the principles involved, where it mentions that there is an emphasis on ensuring the sharing of benefits, land use rights and tenure, as well as the mitigation of potential adverse environmental and social impacts. The possibility for participation of a diverse range of stakeholders is an important part of the types of methodologies that are applied in the CESA. They complement, in fact, the analytical tools and approaches involved. And we have to consider that there are a number of steps that are outlined in the guidance that's provided for readiness proposal preparation, for example, that define stakeholder participation. For example, you want to, through a stakeholder analysis, to define the relevant groups and actors involved, provide prior meaningful information, and disclose relevant documentation to different stakeholder groups. Transparency in the process is obviously a key element of success and legitimacy for the process. Depending on the characteristics of the stakeholders, to organize appropriate fora and events that facilitate consultations. It's very important to document the process and the recommendations made so that those participating in the process can see, for example, that a full range of opinions, views have been captured, and also the decisions taken on the basis of the views and opinions expressed. It's necessary to provide timely feedback on the decisions taken, so again that stakeholders can see the connection between the inputs they've provided and how the frameworks and the steps in the process are taking shape. And finally, often an overlooked step at times, but you want to make sure that you have independent mechanisms of redress and appeal as appropriate. The initial political economy analysis, as well as the stakeholder analysis that is done as part of the readiness proposal preparation, this provides a basis for what comes next, when the actual carrying out of the full-blown CESA. So it is a cumulative process where succeeding steps build on prior ones. Just to wrap up, we see that that the preparation of environmental and social management frameworks is an important output, an important product of the CESA process, but there are three others which are implied by what we've had to tell you here today: the policy, legal adjustments, or reforms for the RED strategy, an institutional strengthening strategy or plan, mechanisms for ongoing citizen engagement, strategies to allow for the continuing participation and consultation of concerned citizens, and then finally the frameworks which comply with World Bank safeguard policies and other international good practice standards. That's all that we have for you here today, but you can certainly get more detailed guidance and information on this by consulting Annex Number 2 on the guidance note that's been prepared on incorporating environmental and social considerations into the readiness process for RED. And on the World Bank's website, there are some important resources as well on CESA itself, the first link that you see there, and on poverty social impact analysis, which is the second link that you see there. Thank you very much.